Dude, why are we all obsessed with billionaires? So this is where it all comes together. This video, we're going to talk about some heavy topics. So we started talking about the statistical value of life being $8 million. So that's how much money it costs to save a life or to ensure that someone has a healthy, happy life. So why would anyone have more than $8 million when you could spend that money to save a life in your country? It's an interesting ethical question. So we also talked about the statistical value of life is also tied to somebody's wages and how much they produce in a lifetime. And so if $8 million can essentially buy someone's services for a lifetime, but slavery is illegal, wouldn't you say that you could buy somebody for $8 million? You could buy someone's life efforts for that amount of money? So again, why is it okay if slavery is illegal? Why should you be able to own somebody for a lifetime? And an argument might be, well, everyone has the choice in the United States whether they're going to work for someone or not work for someone. But the issue is, if someone has $1 billion and they dangle that in front of people, you will always find someone desperate enough to do anything for that money. You will find a slave in that pool of people. And so as a society, we need to decide, is it okay for people to have all of this extra money lying around when that money could be used to save lives? And it is okay for them to have so much money lying around when they're basically buying and selling people. They're surrounding themselves with people who are desperate, who would do anything for that, and are going to tell that person whatever they need to hear in order to pump up their own ego. And so it's really unhealthy for the billionaire to be surrounded with people who are always going to do whatever you want, who are always going to agree with you. This creates a lot of bad behaviors. So even though a billionaire may have started out being very hardworking and very intelligent, the more success that they achieve, the lazier they get, the sloppier they get, and they start to think they're good at activities that they're not actually good at. They get reinforced psychologically, even though they really shouldn't be working on these things where they're not experts. That also gets to another interesting point. Let's talk about wealth of mass destruction. And so the government has been basically printing money for a long time, printing more than you would think is necessary. And some of that's electronic. It's not physical money all the time. But money is out there. And most of the money is being accumulated by the wealthy. So why hasn't inflation gone up? Well, it has. It has gone up in healthcare. It has gone up in housing. It has gone up in education. But it should have gone up a lot more than that. And so this wealth of mass destruction has been stagnant wealth. It's just been collected for a rainy day in a lot of ways. And if it was unleashed all at once, so if they used that money to spend buying bags of flour, the inflation that would result from that massive amount of spending would destroy the market for bags of flour. So it's like a bomb waiting to go off. Whatever they want to spend their money on is going to make that amount unreasonable, the price to be unreasonable for people who are just trying to get that. And so it's not a matter of redistributing that wealth. it's almost like that wealth needs to be locked away and never spent on anything because it's so dangerous. Um, and maybe over time, small amounts can be pulled into like critical things in order to save lives. Um, but an argument can be made that nobody should have more than $8 million if that's the cost of life. Nobody should have that because anything above that can be used to save a life, and anything above that can be used to buy somebody, and slavery is not right. And so these are hard questions that we need to ask as a society. And we need to challenge billionaires. Why are you hoarding your money? Why aren't you doing something better? Or is it just a matter of ego? In the last video, I asked a question: do the wealthy want people to be desperate? And I think they do. I think they like having power over people. And it's time for people to realize what this is. It's about having control over your own life, not having control over others.